Okay, everybody. All right. Back. I'm back on it. So it seems like YouTube is one thing, but doing it here on Zoom, maybe what the hell I'm just on right now. You know what I'm saying? Know what I'm saying? Know what I'm saying? Hold on. Let me get my girl Bianca on. See, fellas, this is what you got to do sometimes. You know, when you're dealing with women, you're dealing with those of us, and I don't even want to just say just women, but those of us who operate on, in different dimensions. It's times you have to be nimble in life. That's really what I'm trying to say. You have to be nimble. So, I want to make sure I get Bianca. Here we go.
Hello, hello.
Hello, hello, hello.
We are here. It works.
We
The
got it.
universe provides.
I
We
know.
got it. We got it. Yes, many blessings. Happy days.
Blessings, blessings, blessings. Yes, yes, yes.
Uh-huh.
We are here. So,
We're here.
all right.
Here now.
So let me give you, since this is kind of our first time, and this is my first real interview, not even interview, but just guest appearance. Normally I'm doing these pods alone where I can just espouse my thoughts, my ideas, my just visions and aspirations and and how I look at the world. And I know
Mhm.
that a big part of what I want to do is show the world the people that are in my life and the people that impress me and who I grow with and who grow together, and we share a lot of the same aspirations and thoughts, as of being a type 9 civilization. And
Type 9 civilization.
here
Yes.
we go. And most people are like, okay, what is that? Especially my audience, the audience that I'm building toward, and I want to be able to give them in long form my evolution, our evolution, their evolution, and pathways and ultimately seeds. I
And seeds. I love it.
seeds.
100%.
Seeds, and
Each one teach one.
already know how it is. Definitely. So on the Art Mob Pod, it's a podcast that talks about blockchain, talks about NFTs, how we can use this new evolution of technology. But as we both know, it won't work if we don't look inwards and kind of evolve ourselves, because we can't use new technology and fit it in that old mind frame and that old train of thought. So today, which is a Friday, normally these are Wednesdays where I do my 4W Wednesdays, where it's focused on the goddesses,
Yes.
and bringing my 4Ws, women, wine, weed, and well-being,
Well-being.
into into the
I love
frame.
it.
But I wanted to do it a little bit different because you and I we also roll in similar circles outside of this, and
Mhm.
we're going through our evolution, and I think this 2023 that we're in is a
Great.
starting point.
Great, and baby.
20
Yes,
is a
yes.
starting point, and I feel the best way to kind of start off is by starting off with the origin story, and take these next
Mhm.
episodes as a point in time where we can talk about why we're here, where we're from, what we're doing, where we're going, and how do we, as decentralized beings who have a global network, how do we how does it make sense to us? You know, what were the things that kind of helped us pivot to get to this point? As I say, I come from the block and I'm into blockchain. What does that mean? How do I go from one place to another? Because people may see us and be like, look, y'all got it going on. Y'all got it, you know,
Exactly.
together. And I could never be there. I could never
Lots
be.
of education.
And,
Lots of
you know, so
yeah.
I feel that you know, if there's two people that can talk you know, a story that, you know, may seem vastly different, may seem very similar, and but
Mhm.
nonetheless who want to impact, you know, I felt, you know, Bianca Flores is who I want to speak with, and because you're so powerful, and I feel and elegant and flowing and happy and a badass, and you know,
Aw.
there's
Thank you.
you know, and so yeah, so here
I
we
receive all the compliments humbly.
so here we are, and you know, let's just start to tell the world a little bit about yourself.
Amazing. So I am Bianca Flores, and I am an infinite soul. You know, I like to begin the origin story of really in the space of remembering our infinite nature beyond our physical experience here. And I don't want to go too woo-woo on this, but I would like to claim now and declare my infinite nature as we step into this. I was born in California, Santa Barbara, lived there for about 7 years. Grew up in Des Moines, Iowa after those 7 years. So yeah, middle school, high school in Iowa. When I graduated, I know, huge shift, right? Huge shift.
Oh, I know. So, yeah, it started off in California. Where in California
Straight
again?
from the coast, baby, to the cornfields. Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
and it's like
huge
right to the
shift.
core. Like, what a shift! Like
Mhm.
that's the sun and fun of Cali, and with the vibe light and airy, and boom, right to the
Boom.
middle of the cornfields with, you know, structured, and you know, some may think very conservative and close mind.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I experienced a lot of that growing up, and I feel like just having that reference point of living in a more liberal community while growing up in California that carried over when I moved to Iowa. So I was definitely a bright light, a you know, a bright crayon in the box, if you want to say, and I felt like I stuck out a little bit in that community. Um, growing up, you know, I actually really enjoy living in Iowa. I know that some people of color, especially, had different experiences, you know, some racism and whatnot growing up. I personally don't feel like I was ever a victim of that. I'm actually very grateful. My family moved me out there. There was a great educational system. I was involved in a lot of extracurricular activities, competitive dance, club soccer. You know, I was always very active. And like I said, the academics were very good. So the education was amazing. I'm grateful for that. But anyway, after I graduated high school, I moved to San Diego. And being in San Diego really kind of shifted my state of consciousness, actually. You know, coming from Iowa, very different frequency, let's just say that. So going back to California, I was like, wow, like a huge awakening journey. So I was 19, 20 at the time. And that's when I actually started microdosing. If we want to go into a little plant medicine, because I do call myself a medicine woman, I began microdosing mushrooms at the age of 20, which completely opened up my mind and guided me on this journey. Huge, huge shift. Yeah, it guided me on this journey through Central and South America, where I began studying plant medicine. for about 3 years until I was 24. So 20 to 24, 3, 4 years.
Wow. Wow. Wait. So from
Yeah,
so you're a competitive dancer in high school. So let's back up a little bit. So you're a competitive dancer. You were able to come out of Iowa, and I'm so happy that you said that, because obviously, as we are people of color, and most people have a bad or a skewed look of the Midwest, right?
right,
And they look at it and be like, racism, racism. Meanwhile, I similarly, never felt like, that kind of, that racism that people tend to kind of like throw onto, fairly and unfairly, throw onto, just white people, like, oh, they're racist.
right.
And there's one thing about the Midwest, because I lived out there as well. I went from the concrete to the cornfields, and I lived in Nebraska. My roommate was from Mosville, Iowa. So I spent time in Mosville,
You understand.
Des Moines, Sioux City. You know what I mean? Like. So I was out there, and I felt embraced. I didn't feel like, maybe it's because I'm Jamaican, so that comes with a different sense of, people have a different kind of sense of inclusiveness, but I never brought any type of aggression to people, so it was always the kind of opening, and that's what I've always felt from you, and it seems like, that was also something that followed you, that openness to embrace people.
Yeah. And I feel like it's because you and I, we are such bright lights in our communities, and that's just the reality we reflect back to us. We live in a reflective reality. So for us to be so open within and really be in that state of self-expression and our hearts, just leading the way, then that's the experience that the universe wants to feed back to us. And that's, maybe not the case for everybody, but we are very blessed to live in that in that way and embodiment. So
Wow, wow. And so
yeah,
and went back to the West Coast, and then from there down to South America to microdose, on a microdosing journey. Did you ever in because Iowa has cow patties and these types of things. So was it the first time you microdosed in California, or was this something that you had done in before?
great question. So yeah, I actually discovered mushrooms at the age of 16, and I want to give such reverence to this medicine because I feel like they truly saved my life at the time. Though I was a very bright light, um, within my community, and that's what everyone perceived me as. I was actually very sad, and I suffered from a lot of depression growing up because of a lot of perfectionism that developed within me. Being a competitive dancer, I was on a club soccer team. We were the best in the Midwest. So competitive within my sports, academics, top of my class, and like just feeling like gotta strive to be better always. Like I was never good enough, da, 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 da. And all that pressure that I personally put on myself. It wasn't even my family. It wasn't my teachers or anything. It was myself putting it on myself. One day I was offered mushrooms, and that was such a pivotal shift in the course of my life. Truly, I took the mushrooms. I They weren't kicking in, so I decided just to go home. I was like, okay, this isn't gonna work. So I went home, and I'm 16 at the time. My parents were gone at some fundraiser or whatever, whatever. And I turned my music on in my bedroom, and the mushrooms start kicking in. I'm like, okay, here they go. Here
Yeah.
they go. And I just began like dancing and like feeling myself and really feeling myself and just feeling like all of the shame that I put on myself and all the pressure. And that's when I started doing like a mirror meditation. I caught myself in the mirror, and I went up to the mirror, and I was like, whoa, who are you? Like, there was the first time I saw myself in this light. And I was like, you are such a beautiful being. How did you ever not see this before? You know?
Oh my
It
God.
was so incredible. It completely shifted my life and it went through, so much healing in that one evening. And so I have such reverence for the medicine, which is a big reason I went on this journey through Central and South America to better learn different plant medicines and to help show others that there's other forms of healing, maybe not just within the psychedelic realm, but food as medicine, which is another big passion of mine, and connecting to the earth grids to really help ground ourselves in this life. We live in a very advanced part of our civilization, so much technology and artificial intelligence. And I feel like a big part of my ethos right now is to be the ancient futurist, is really bridging the indigenous wisdom and culture to the future of tech, because that's where we can be the bridge of these worlds that we're in. So
I like that what you just said. I've never, the ancient futurist. I've often said that, we're talking about bringing old world technology
nice. Yeah.
and mixing it with this new world technology, right? Like the old world technology is, plant medicine, meditation, the forgetting the things that we've forgotten that we knew right at birth. And from that moment forward, the world has tried to like extinguish, erase it, re-record it, give you a whole bunch of other things to confuse you. There's always
Mhm.
that point in time where you connect back to it,
Yeah.
and whether it starts off in a cornfield in the middle of Iowa with just some friends that want to kind of just geek out and have some fun, when it hits that right person and people, it can take you onto a whole different journey of self rediscovery and self
Yeah.
rememory. And I'm so happy that happened, because for me, growing up, in a Rasta and Jamaican community, where, cannabis was the sacrament. So it was really, I've been around weed all my life, like all of my life, right? My father was a huge figure in the community, huge figure in the community. He had a group of men and women of over 100 people that were his group. They grew cannabis, they imported it, they had it all over New York. And I grew up in this world. So for me, it was just kind of just the way of life. It was just what it was. And they chanted and they meditated and they fasted and they ate ital. You
The
know,
Aita.
ital. There you go. Before there's vegan, before there's organic, before there's vegetarian, like ital. Ital is vital. Like
Aita.
this
No,
is this is how the Rastas live. They are stewards of the earth. They are shepherds. They're shepherds, like those who, before it really necessarily became more of a fashion trend, it was a livity. It is a livity. This is what we call it, a livity. It's a lifestyle, as you say, lifestyle,
yeah.
but this is a livity. So there are, certain kind of rastas. There's like three different like sets. This is, they read the Old Testament. Their second coming of the Messiah was Rastafari, the
Mhm.
Ethiopian emperor. He visited Jamaica, and he barely could get off the plane because there were so many Rastas just on the tarmac, like around. Like that was their second coming. They have land in
When
Ethiopia.
you say he, is this Selassie? I
Ali
see.
Selassie, yes, yes.
Okay.
And, most people don't realize like what. Okay, so his name from at birth is is Ras. Tafar, right?
Ah,
That's his name, Ras Tafar, and it's Imon Kalkin. I think I'm totally messing it up. People are gonna kill me. But
it's okay.
but when he became and when he became, because the thing is this, his bloodline, his literal bloodline is traced
Mhm.
directly back to King David, right? So David and
Wow.
like that's his direct bloodline. He's a direct descendant from that. And when he was crowned emperor and he took on the name Haile Selassie,
Mhm.
his it was the coming of a prophecy, because it was saying that there will be a king in Africa that will be crowned, and he is the savior. And it was born from that. It was a and so since then, and this prophecy was born in like 1912. And then so when he was crowned
Wow.
emperor, it was just the prophecy of that. So Rastafarianism picked
And
up
King David. Wow,
right
I
after that. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
never put that together.
Yeah. Big time. So when you see like these Rastas, like there are some that, yes, it's a fashion style now, but there
Yeah.
are some that are really about the liberty, because it deals with their connection with the motherland, the connection with Africa. When the slave trade happened, it brought over, it didn't bring over able-bodied men and women who knew who they were. The slave trade was filled with children,
Oh goodness.
babies,
Yeah.
right?
The
So,
innocence was the taking of the innocence. Yeah.
so it's like, so now we can indoctrinate you with a whole new, and it's prophecy. It's in the Bible.
Yeah.
It's in the Bible
Mhm.
that the Bible, and I'm not even, just like you said, we're not here getting woo woo, and I'm not here getting religious, but the Bible is a great history book. It it,
It
it
truly.
it's a
I,
great
I love
history book.
that you're saying this because recently I've actually had a lot of my mentors sending me Bible verses. And I've been, I left the church when I was confirmed in 8th grade. I was like, okay, I'm never going back. Like, thanks, mom and dad. But I find it coming back to me through this path of deep spirituality. I'm actually reaching this point where I'm like, wow, I want to seek out a local church because I feel like I'm at that point of my own, whatever you want to call it, but I believe in Jesus Christ, and the Bible verses recently have been such a big help. I apologize for cutting you off,
Oh
but
no,
I
no,
love that you're very relevant to my personal life right now. So
because it is, and I was raised, the thing is this, my father was a Rastafarian, right? And
yeah.
because one, these were the scriptures explained of the 144,000 slaves
Yes.
from the lost tribe of Israel, the 12 tribes of Israel. All right.
Yeah.
So that's these Shem, Abraham, like all of these, like biblical people,
Exactly.
and how they were casted out and then taken across the water in shackles. Like, this is all in the Bible.
Yeah.
And you will be servant for your masters. They won't care about you. They will forsake you. But this is what you have to go through because you didn't hold the Lord's commandments. That's what
Mm-hmm.
all of this is. So when you have like, the Black people going through all of this, this is the prophecies that are being played out, and so it really is a wild a wild thing, like how it
It's so,
shows. So you
we are
know
in such a deep time of prophecy right now.
so deep. So
Incredibly prophecy
deep.
happening. It's so deep. The signs are everywhere. We
You
could have a
know,
whole podcast on this subject alone.
oh my gosh, you're so right. So not to even like dwell on it too long, but my father was a Rasta, but my grandparents were conservative Catholics, right? So my father was like Mufasa. He was the firstborn son, and I was his firstborn son.
So this
So
is coming from a kind of a royal family then of Jamaica. The Prince of Jamaica. I mean,
it's
I meant major, for the audience, I meant major. And the name that somebody gave me is like, oh, this is the Prince of Jamaica.
yeah.
This and
Yeah, it was, and it was something that I've always kind of tried to run from because it was a lot. My father passed away when I was 5 years old. He died. And what came after that was pretty much an acceleration of my family, because the next iteration of it was, and my uncle stepping up and taking over the family business and taking that to ridiculous heights. And a lot of other things, came in, and that's a whole nother story. But the thing is, my grandparents weren't trying to allow me to be a Rasta, because it wasn't really something that Jamaicans reveled, and that's the funniest thing about it, because in certain Bob Marley made it very, very palpable,
right. Or
people,
main, yeah.
but it wasn't really something that Jamaicans heralded. They didn't. They despised it. Like if you donned dreads, if you became a Rasta, they kicked you out of the house. They locked you up. They beat you. They persecuted you. It was you were taking your life into your own hands.
Do you feel like this was because they were seeking a better future for the culture, like more cultural, what is the term I'm looking for? Um, for instance, my family comes from Mexico, and I'm second generation Mexican American, and we were raised very Americanized, so we could fit more into a different culture. So I'm just in a different context. Is that kind of what was happening? Do
Oh,
you feel?
definitely.
Yeah.
Um, we're an English colony, so the Queen was our monarch. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and everything in Jamaica was about that. Remember, we drive on the other side of the road. It's very
Right, right.
proper. I mean, my mother was born left-handed, and they beat her until she was right-handed. Type of stuff. You know what I mean? So like,
Oh,
it was Jamaica was one of the more harshest, hard
that
like
is
harshest kind of slave kind of plantations were there, a lot of buck breaking, all of the slaves who fought back against the British, really were sent to Jamaica, those that they couldn't. So there's a lot of, pride, strength on both
yeah.
sides, both wanting to be the best of the conservative, and
Mm-hmm.
those who want to find their level of freedom because they realize that this isn't what we're about. We're kings. We come from something, and for the Rastas, it was their ability to tap into that. So Rastafari was a direct adversary to the Vatican.
Yes. Yep.
Okay, direct, because
Disrupt
if
disruptor.
I'm descendant of King David, you know what I
Exactly.
mean? And you claim to be the connection to God, the Lord, and so forth. It's a it's one of those things where it's one of those things where we have so much that is embedded in the world, learning and knowing that I am the top dog. Now here comes this man, and all of these people follow him. If we acknowledge this, our whole game is, kaput. So that's why you had places like Italy invading Ethiopia during the World War, because they were supporting the Vatican.
Vatican. Yeah. Ooh, can go on a tangent about the Vatican.
I know. I know, man. So yeah, man. So weed was my kind of sacrament that brought us, and beautiful mushroom, was it? And yeah. I don't even want to go down all of that right now, but we're still. So let's get back to you. So you're in South, you're in San Diego, Southern California. You're taking it off to South America. You are studying plants. You are studying, sacraments. You are finding
yoga, massage, meditation. I was living in off-grid communities and permaculture farms. Really learning Ayurveda along the way and how to cultivate seeds and develop a community that lives really harmoniously with the natural laws within the morphogenetic field of nature. And after my travels in South America, I came back to the States for a little bit. I went to my first Burning Man, which is a whole shift. Okay, so I did not like Burning Man the first time I ever went. I was like, what is this world of consumption and, complete extortion and degradation almost of our resources. And I came with such a pure soul from living, in the middle of the jungle for a long, several years, pretty much. And I was like, whoa, what is this world? This dystopia. But towards the end, after I integrated that experience, I saw the beauty within it. And I told myself I would never return unless I got an amazing opportunity to go back. And the following year, I got an opportunity to go with this group of designers, builders, and architects. So I got to help participate in building large art structures, which is another passion of mine. So each year I went back. I was like, I'm not going to go unless I get invited with a great opportunity. And, each year I've gone for 8 years, and I've always gone with an incredible invite. So anyway, that's a whole other story. So I went to Burning Man. I started traveling with my beloved at the time, John Breitbart. Excuse me, names. Him. We lived in Iceland, Bali, and traveled the world, cultivating a relationship, but also learning more ways and healing modalities. And what I like to say is we were doing a lot of grid work. We would go to sacred sites around the world and hold ceremony and, really pray to the land and to source to anchor in new consciousness templates in all of the different places we went. So that happened. I ended up moving to LA, working with an architect for a while. And after LA, I came to Puerto Rico, and I came here to help with some hurricane resilient solutions and infrastructure, water technology, and eventually opened up my own holistic wellness business here. And became a spiritual advisor to a lot of people in the community, some CEOs, some inspired youth, you name it. I've worked with a lot of individuals along the way. So Yeah, sustainable solutions ultimately is my passion. I like to bring win-win situations and inspire people to embody their highest expression through creativity, through healing trauma, doing a lot of healing work, and yeah. Just helping people anchor in their true life's purpose. That's one of my passions. So I have a lot of passions.
And
Anyway.
it's a great to have a lot of passions because you are a gift to the world. So as somebody as such, you should be into many things because it's different modalities and different stories many people have, and the relatability is probably one of the highest ways to gain trust
Mm-hmm.
and to find yourself really channeling your gifts that you, I'm sure, the picked up from the jungles, picked up from the medicine, picked up from the
Yeah.
other masters that you've met along the way. To be able to go around the world, hold ceremony, it takes a an expansive mind. It takes a generous soul. It takes a uh, a curiosity, a childlike curiosity, because let's face it, there's an exchange going constantly when you're bringing people in. And
Mm, really. Yeah.
wow, wow.
Yeah.
Well,
It at the time it took a lot. Well, actually, I've always been kind of fearless, but when I look back at it, I'm like, wow, that took a lot of courage to just kind of pick up at age 20, sell everything, leave everything you've ever known in this system of the United States and buy a backpack, go through Central and South America for several years by yourself, pretty much, as a young woman. I'm like, wow.
wow.
Um, and yeah, so many lessons along the way. So many lessons. I know we're running low on time right now, and I would love to go into more stories and hear more about your journey, but we can save that for the next episode.
Yeah, this is just part one of this, man.
Part one.
This is just part one. I think we're gonna has to be a bit of a episodes, maybe like two or three more. But I know that there's a lot that goes into all of that. This is just kind of like our overview. Uh,
Mm-hmm. And I would love to just say for anyone listening in that what I have shared so far, it does sound a very surface level love light. And also a lot of the healing that I've been cultivating in my life was due to a lot of underlying stuff that may feel more relatable to individuals, such as my own trauma and ancestral traumas that I was releasing, and you know the perfectionism, addiction, all this stuff. I'd love to go into all of that in the next episode.
yeah, yeah,
So
yeah. For sure.
really,
Uh,
really go deep.
That's what I'm talking about. Like
All of
this isn't
it.
about, I mean, we're not doing this for clicks. We're doing this because,
Oh,
we're here to help heal. And I
yeah.
know that our path is something that people, want to find out and find the similarities in, because like we said, we're dropping seeds, we're
Yeah.
dropping game, and it's really about, you know, us just recognizing the light in each other, and
Mm-hmm.
and showing others. Definitely. And showing others that, you know this is not all love and light, even though we talk love and light. Like, what we're about. We're not about one side. Like, there's a duality to this thing, you know what I mean? Like, if you're showing me all your light, what I'm really interested in are your shadows, are the dark
Mhm.
spaces. Like, because
Yep.
that's where the healing is, and that's where the real conversation starts. And yeah,
Yeah.
this is just the beginning. This is just the beginning.
Beautiful. Well, I'm so grateful for you, Major.
Oh,
So
hey,
much love. you, and I'm feeling very inspired to begin this journey. So.
This is a beautiful thing. This is a beautiful thing. You know, this is 2023. The game is free. The mindset is free. The ability to release yourself is free. You know,
Yeah.
um, most people feel like there's a big payment. No, you just have to look inward, open
Mm-hmm.
outward, and just step forward, because as our good friend Jack says, you know, just ask questions because the time is now.
Nah. Man, I've been loving these calls. I've been loving
Oh,
them.
big
Yeah.
time, you know. Yo, folks, that yeah, y'all don't even know what we are. Trust me.
Yeah.
This
I
is just
know what's happening.
right.
We'll go more into that. We'll go more into that.
Bianca, until next time, I'm sending you so much love. I'm sending you so much light, so much openness. I know you're holding it down in Puerto Rico for me. I will be there in a couple of weeks, very short period of time. There's things popping, you know. But folks,
Yes, I
I
feel
thank
it.
you so much for checking us out today. My name is Major Dream Williams. This is the Art Mob, where we mint culture. We show you how to get from the block to blockchain. And, you know, at the end of the day,